A very warm welcome, everyone. I, Dr. Nishant Sharma, on behalf of Voice of Healthcare, welcomes all the viewers who have joined in for our virtual series. Voice of Healthcare, in collaboration with Espera Nutrition, has taken an initiative to bring together an interview series talking about the importance of nutrition during oncology treatment as we celebrate the National Nutrition Week, which is 1st to 7th September. Today we have with us Dr. Bharat Bhosale, founder director at Sunrise Oncology Centre, Mumbai. Good day, Mr. Bharat. A few words of self-introduction, please.
Yeah. So good evening, and myself, Dr. Bharat Bhosale, as you know, I am the founder director of Sunrise Oncology Centre, which is a chain of cancer daycares, chemotherapy daycares, which is operational in Mumbai, Goa, and Thane. We have 6 centers, and day after tomorrow, we are inaugurating one more center in Chembur. So basically, these centers are daycare centers where chemotherapy, immunotherapy, targeted therapy, and apart from this, nutritional counseling, genetic counseling, and psychological counseling is also an important part. So I am basically a medical oncologist and a bone marrow transplant physician. And apart from Sunrise Oncology Center, I work at Bombay Hospital, Jaslok Hospital, and HN Reliance Hospital.
Thank you for the introduction, Doctor. So we'll just head dive into the questions. So I'll throw my first question towards you. How would you want to share your perspective of why nutrition holds a very crucial role in the journey of any cancer patient, and how does a patient's nutritional status, let's say, impact their ability to cope up with the treatment and the overall well-being?
So let's start as a nutrition. As a journey of cancer patients, any cancer which starts, it starts with one cell, right? And there are various factors responsible for it. So we call cancer as a multifactorial disease.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no single factor, apart from there are cancers which are directly related to tobacco. But majority of the cancers are multifactorial origin. Means there is not one factor which is playing a role. There are multiple factors. And nutrition is very, very important. Now let's talk about change in the nutritional pattern in our country, as we are sitting in a low income country, which is probably going into the high income country very soon. And this change is started decades before. So we talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat and we see changes happening. It's good to see a large population in India or any other low and middle income country is now getting access to good nutrition. And social media and artificial intelligence, new things are coming up. Now with the good things, sad things are also happening. Sad thing in the sense, in the nutrition pattern, if you see, the kids in the school are facing a problem of obesity, right? It's a fact.
Right.
In metros, we are concerned about looking at their livers. The changes of fatty liver are happening in kids. So this has happened in last 2 decades, and which is now actually getting manifested. And the nutrition is very, very important in infants, kids, then early adulthood. And these changes which are happening not only in the liver, heart, and which we label it as a overweight and morbid obesity. That leads to metabolic syndrome and chronic non-communicable diseases. And cancer is one of the important non-communicable disease, apart from the hypertension, diabetes. Obviously. So if you see, largely cancer also happens in those patients who are obese, diabetic, hypertensive, in which these particular people, the immune system is also not functioning well. That is why we promote healthy habits, exercise, good nutrition. That does not mean you change your diet in one day and you become healthy. It has to start long back at your early age. And that is where I feel when people come to us and they say, we are living healthy life, we are in Mumbai, we are in engineering, we do exercise, still you get a cancer. So probably, we have to start it from early. The nutrition intervention has to start from the early life. Yes, nutrition is important for cancer therapy, completion, outcome, and after that. But if you look at the number of cancer cases we are going to have in the next 10 years, the numbers are very, very alarming. If you ask me, are we prepared to deal with it? The answer is no, we are not prepared.
Mm.
Then what is the best way? At least we can curtail the numbers by early intervention where the cancer will not happen. The
Mhm.
prevention, which is somebody has said long lives ago,
Mhm.
prevention is the best. It is not better, it is the best. For cancer, it
Right.
is. Because the
Mm.
cost involved in the cancer treatment is so much. If you
Right.
see the therapies, the immunotherapies, and even the good nutrition which comes up, it comes up at the cost.
At a cost. Correct.
And if you look at our traditional diet, which we always talk
Mhm.
about, various shows you must have covered that. So cancer incidence was low. Yes, because of awareness, the cancer incidence is increasing. But you look at
Mhm.
the Western countries, their cancer incidence 30 years before was very high, and they realized that something is wrong. They tried to improvise their habits like smoking, alcohol patterns, and then
Mhm.
diet. They are also what we are doing by westernizing our lifestyle, so-called development or going towards a high-income country. We are
Mhm.
trying to adapt good things and bad things. That's why I said no. It is very sad to see a
Correct.
Western diet we are adapting and we are leaving our traditional ways, which are actually a healthier diet. If you go to the
Right.
south, curries or spices, no, those were actually no. Even the haldi, curcumin, what is
Mm.
being sold as a treatment today is a part of traditional diet.
Mhm.
So we are
Right.
moving from our own good tradition to whatever is called so-called as a developed world's diet. That is
Mm.
something which is one of the factor. I would not directly blame it, but yes, we have to understand it is one of the important factor for the
Right.
cancer development. And taking this into cancer journey, yes, nutrition is the key factor. I'm telling you, it is the center point from where
Mhm.
prevention is one aspect, going through the journey of cancer treatment. And once you finish the treatment, these are long term survivors. These patients live for years. The treatment also creates
Mhm.
some changes in the body. If you look at the breast cancer patients, during the treatment journey, they gain weight, and some cancer they
Right.
lose weight. So you have to understand what is happening with the biology of the patients. And once the patient
Mhm.
becomes a survivor, they have their special needs. So before going into cancer, there is a prevention.
Mhm.
Once the cancer starts, there's a treatment aspect. So once the treatment is finished, the goal is not
Mhm.
finished. You have to maintain a healthy lifestyle because these patients are going to survive for 20, 30 years. And if you don't
Right.
look at that and if you neglect, then they are going to face the metabolic syndrome and the secondary
Mhm.
problems, the dyslipidemia, and cardiac events. So that is why,
Right.
especially, and these people are the motivators for the other patients to come for the treatment. So yes,
Hmm.
nutrition is into continuation is important for cancer.
So, likely you said if we divide cancer treatment and nutrition in cancer treatment in three different parts, let's just talk about each one of those with a little bit of a tweaked question, which will educate our viewers here. So, let's say we talk about the pre-treatment ages. So, every cancer case is unique. Every time that you get a cancer case, you understand that it is unique. How do you, I would say, approach the tailoring nutritional recommendation for every particular patient? And if you can give us a possible example where your tailored nutritional requirement for them has made a significant difference in the overall treatment experience.
So see, basically, whenever a patient comes to it, it's not something no, which is written on paper and you just hand it over to it. So whenever a
Mm-hmm.
patient of different cancer comes, so suppose I am dealing with, so there are patient aspects. There is something called as social aspects. So
Mm-hmm.
social aspect, then patient aspect, and the tumor aspects. What
Right.
cancer I'm dealing with. So suppose there are on one side there is a breast cancer, and on the other side there is a GI cancer, like say
Mm-hmm.
stomach cancer or oral cancer. So presentation of these patients is totally different. One side I have breast
Mm-hmm.
cancer patients comes from a relatively better background, from a metros,
Mm-hmm.
who is well educated and nutritionally well built. And if you look at the other side, no patients of cervical cancer or say oral
Mm-hmm.
cancer, those gutka eaters and no different tobacco preparations, those comes from low social. Most of those, yes, there are people who come from high social economic, but oral
Right.
cancer is something which is seen, gutka chewers which are from the rural background or from the low income. Then their
Right.
nutritional status as well as the nutritional background is also different. So what I'm
Right.
referring to is a social background. The kind of
Mm-hmm.
food they eat, the kind of food no a person from metro eats is totally different. Then when I my approach is to get that history also. Whenever a patient comes to us,
Mm-hmm.
usually what happens, we see what tumor, what size, then what type of pattern, and then what chemotherapy I'm going to give. So unfortunately, this part is largely neglected. I have to accept it. No, largely in the teaching also, if you see, we learn many things about what minerals, what vitamins, no, what micronutrients. We learn that. So our basic biology teaching starts from vitamins. Each and every vitamin is taught with their chemical formulas. So we know
Correct.
their role. But when you
Mm-hmm.
jump from what we call from the research to clinical side to actually
Mm-hmm.
seeing the patients, so how many of us are now at that age, no initial medical schooling? The importance is actually not given. So in the exams also we see this food has this nutrition, this. So what happens
Mm-hmm.
then? Somebody goes into surgery, somebody goes into medicine, somebody goes into preventives, and then dietitians are totally no separate. They so what is happening? What I label with the cancer, you remove a tumor, still it comes back, right? So they
Right.
always different pathways. They talk to each other and they try to evade what we try to do as a doctor or patient. We try to kill
Mm-hmm.
them and then they come back again because they are continuously talking to each other. Here, what is probably happening? We are not talking to each other. No, like we talk to a surgeon, we talk to a radiation oncologist, but
Right.
usually the nutritionist comes and they plan their own things and then they go. So I feel every tumor, every person, every social background has to be discussed,
Hmm.
and a particular plan should come for that particular patient. So as I said,
Hmm.
for a breast cancer patient, maybe energy is not important. For a oral cancer patient, the calories and energy is important,
Hmm.
right? So some patient may require a protein based diet, some patient may require no energy based diet.
Energy
So
based
for
diet.
example, suppose there is a patient whose pancreas has been removed, pancreas is
Mm-hmm.
or a stomach is removed, so large part of the
Mm-hmm.
gastric channel where the absorption happens, you have
Has
taken it
been
out.
removed. Hmm.
The patient has to recover from that period. So
Hmm.
suppose the patient comes, get diagnosed, underwent surgery, and during recovery, there is a highest demand for the calories, right?
Hmm.
So that patient requires recovery carbohydrates. On the contrary, yeah, there are other patients who are already built up. You can't no give them a burden of carbohydrates and energy. So
Correct.
that part is very, very important.
Hmm.
And second part, why I say social, see, we get patients from the rural background. You just can't
Hmm.
ask somebody, you eat this kind of protein, no, this burger. So you have to understand what is cooked in their kitchen. You just can't ask any vegetarian to have a non-veg food.
Correct.
So that is also very, very important. You have to understand.
Understanding the
And
social history. Hmm.
yes, yes, it is time consuming. One has to sit. You have
Correct.
to understand.
Hmm.
And what I largely tell my patients, so see, nutrition is a big, big science. No? We have limited times of interaction with the patient and number of patients also we have to cater.
Hmm.
See, we eat not just to satisfy the calories and proteins. There is something called as a mental satisfaction. Somebody
Hmm.
who eats the food for years and some no after a diagnosis of cancer, you say no, you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you can't eat this. At least 20% pleasure should come from the food. One has to understand. No, people tell no, sugars are harmful, don't eat sugar. I tell my patients, see, you
Hmm.
have to eat what you have been eating. Yes, you have to do little bit modifications. And
Right.
then we have to understand this part is lacking, and then you provide the supplementations. But
Hmm.
largely your nutrition should come or must come from the natural resources. What
Hmm.
you have been eating for years.
For
Because
years.
yeah, it does taste buds are natural. They are not just given for the sake of sitting on the tongue. Because body has to be
Correct.
harmony, it has to have a mental satisfaction at the same time you have physical. That's why you ask no run and eat good food. So there has to be a pleasure. So at least you have to look 20%, 80%. Okay, you satisfy all those proteins, calories, carbohydrate, but you look at that aspect
To
also.
the taste buds as well.
Then the patient will go and eat those foods. Otherwise, whatever you give, he is not going to eat.
Correct, correct. So, building on that, moving on to let's talk about the post-treatment nutrition. Put some light on the post-treatment nutrition as a patient completes their treatment and are on the process of having their recovery. How do you feel that after the side effects and everything of the treatment has worn off, what part does the nutrition play, and with a classical example as well? So, over
So
to
I
you.
said it's a continuation process. Say
Hmm.
during the treatment also. So I'll start with the during the treatment.
Hmm.
So during the treatment, the patient spends maximum time with the doctors, be
Right.
it a medical oncologist, our nurses. So we educate our nurses. After understanding what background the patient has, as I said, some cancer they gain lot of weight, and other cancer they lose lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And there are side effects which no prevent them to eat. So we have to make sure what nutrition to be planned. Our nutrition comes I specifically make sure that they just don't give the chart unless I am also discussing. I also have some queries about it, and I discuss with them. And the chart is given. We make sure that they follow. What happens if you go and see, most of the time they don't follow, because there are a lot of side effects, nausea, vomiting, fatigue. So you have to make sure that little bit portions are given over a period of different time intervals. That makes their life easy. And regularly you have to make sure they are not gaining weight, because once this patient goes out of treatment, and this habit of what happens, their energy levels and fatigue prevents them to do a regular exercise during the treatment also, because
Right.
chemotherapy is, yes, it is toxic, and their activities also gone down. So you have to motivate them to do activities, regular activities also. It's not like doing gym and lifting weights, but a brisk walk,
Some
sometimes
physical,
physical walk.
right.
And then you get this opportunity to have a second, like kind of a life. Once they come out of this and they become a survivor, it's a second life for them. So in early ages, we also start developing good habits. As I was mentioning, the nutrition intervention should start at childhood. Likewise,
Yes.
the activity development is also should start at the childhood. Even the meditation
Hmm.
kind of exercise program should start, which is a mental exercise. So you start
Right.
during this period. You have to make sure that these people will carry this kind of a nutrition intervention, the yoga interventions, the meditation intervention, and I feel that is where they should be trained, so that the future problems of metabolic syndromes, these people go out of the treatment, and then the problem starts after 10 years or 20 years. They do develop cardiac diseases, they
We
do
agree.
develop the
Right.
lipid problems, and then that is where you get cure from cancer, and then you fall prey to the other chronic diseases. And there I feel the nutritional planning is very, very important. You have to make sure that they eat adequate amount of proteins, calories amount should go down as per their requirements. And there are nutritional interventions like unsaturated fat in adequate amount and less saturated fat, so that helps the good cells to know there is a process. The cell has to go through a cycle and die. There's something called as
Right.
apoptosis. And good food help, the good nutrition helps to kill those bad cells. The apoptosis is done in a proper amount. And I feel in that second life, the continuation of adequate food and planning should be tailored again according to the social needs and type of cancer treatment happen to a
Exactly.
patient. See, there is something you called as immunotherapy. What is immunotherapy? It enhances your immune system. And what your nutrition does, a good nutrition enhances immunity. Apart from your good physique and good mental health, a good nutrition helps your own immune system to enhance and kill those tumor cells. Because you see, after survival, these patients develop second cancer after 10, 20 years. So to fight those, nutrition is very, very important. The
It's
key
playing
point
a
for
very
you,
pivotal role right there.
yes, now what is happening, your gut microbiome is coming as a indicator for response to immunotherapy, and that is largely manipulated by the good
So,
nutrition. What?
coalescing to the same point of nutrition
Yes,
being a very important and a crucial part there.
yes, yes.
Right, sir. So I think with that, I'll come over to the last segment of this interview, which is, let's say, education and empowerment. So I'd like you to give away a couple key pieces of advice that you feel are required to ensure the well-informed role of nutrition in any cancer journey throughout. So a couple key pieces of advice here.
So I started with no early intervention. Early means not in the journey of cancer, but no very early in the our
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
And empowerment, like we are empowering, we have a lot of good interventions where I can reach, like this program we are doing it, and we are reaching
Right.
it to far remote places. Artificial intelligence is coming in a big way, which can
Hmm.
actually make easier to plan what we are discussing. There are separate segments: social, patient, as well as tumor. So
Hmm.
we can use a good use of artificial intelligence, right,
Hmm.
to plan the treatment for that particular. See, I can't plan. I can't ask a Western speaker to come over here and speak about someone sitting in the Northeast. What diet I have to advise. They can
Right.
tell us that what proportion, but then you have to understand those needs. I think
Hmm.
these new social tools, artificial intelligence, are the key factor where we can reach out to each and every patient or individual
Hmm.
in the country. They
Hmm.
have to understand a good nutrition apart from a good lifestyle. Exercise is very, very important for prevention.
Hmm.
Not only prevention, once the cancer starts, they can, with a good nutritional support, they can fight the cancer and the treatment in a better way. And after survival, this journey continues with cancer good nutrition, which is tailored for each individual, and each tumor will
Hmm.
help them to start the second journey, which will be better than what they lived during treatment or before treatment. That is very, very important. So nutrition in the new era, in social media era with artificial intelligence, I feel we are going to towards the empowerment, but it is in our hand whether we have to accept it or not. It is very, very
No,
important.
very,
So this is,
very, very nicely summed. I think what I would say here, Dr. Bharat, is it's very nicely summed. You've given all our viewers a very nice collation of what can one expect and what one should expect when good nutrition is by their side in any oncology treatment, or per se even in a general human, not just for someone who has fallen ill to cancer.
and
So
the
with this, I'd like to bring this session to completion, and I thank you, Dr. Bharat, for stepping up and educating our viewers on the pivotal role that nutrition is playing during any oncology or cancer treatment. So we wish you all the best and thank you.
thank you so much.